If not to be wasted, what is the purpose of life? This sums up the ideas of George Bataille, a philosopher who has devoted his life to examining the sharp lines that separate excess from violation in human experience. Desire and Guilt. George Bataille was born in Bailam, France, on September 10, 1897. His father had neurosyphilis, which left him blind and paraplegic, and his mother struggled emotionally, probably as a result of her husband's illness, and she made at least 2 attempts at suicide. These family experiences had a significant impact on his worldview. In 1914, he converted to Catholicism and thought about pursuing an ecclesiastical career by enrolling in a seminary. However, in the years that followed, he gradually distanced himself from faith until he gave it up completely. A few years later, after leaving the seminary, he enrolled at the prestigious École Nationale Department in Paris, which is dedicated to training archists and paleographers. In February 1922, he received his degree and then continued his education in Madrid. Upon returning to France, he worked in a library as a numismatist specializing in the study of ancient coins. Throughout his career, he came into contact with prominent intellectual figures of the time such as Marcel Mauss and André Breton. In 1928, he published the novel Story of the Eye under a pseudonym, one of his most provocative and controversial works in which he explored the themes of eroticism and transgression. In the following years, he founded journals such as Documents, through which he delved into concepts related to anthropology, philosophy, and art. His works often addressed themes of transgression, sacrifice, and the relationship between eroticism and death, drawing inspiration from the ideas of philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Sigmund Freud. During the 1940s and 1950s, he continued to develop his philosophical theories, publishing works such as Inner Experience and the Accursed Share, in which he analyzed the concepts of sovereignty and expenditure as essential aspects of human existence. The period in which he lived was marked by profound upheavals: the 2 world wars, the social and cultural transformations of Europe, and the emergence of new philosophical movements. In one of his reflections, Bataille stated that there is no sovereignty except on one condition: not having the effectiveness of power, which is action, the supremacy of the future over the present moment, the supremacy of the earth. This perspective emphasizes his belief that the true essence of human existence lies in the ability to live intensely in the present, abandoning concerns for the future and social conventions. These events influenced his thinking, leading him to develop a vision of human existence as a continuous tension between order and chaos. After marrying actress Sylvia McCass in 1928 and divorcing her in 1934, he had a close relationship with Colette Penot, whose death in 1938 had a profound impact on him. In 1946, he married Diane de Bohun, with whom he had a daughter. A key component of his thinking is the idea of expenditure or waste, which challenges the conventional economic logic based on profit and accumulation. He contends that modern societies are built on a principle of utility that encourages people to concentrate their efforts on production and the accumulation of resources, ignoring the significance of what he refers to as unproductive expenditures. From this vantage point, waste becomes an act of sovereignty, an expression of complete freedom that enables one to transcend the boundaries set by society and morality. On the contrary, these embody the very essence of human life, which finds its most authentic meaning not in preservation but in loss and dissipation. He includes one of his most important works in the Accursed Share. In contrast to the limited economy centered on saving and accumulation, Bataille presents the idea of a general economy, which holds that excess energy generated by a civilization is wasted on things like extravagant ritual sacrifice, festivals, war, and devastation. According to this perspective, every civilization must decide whether to use its surplus for acts of consumption devoid of any real purpose or for expansion. Examples of general economics can be found in the ceremonial traditions of ancient societies, such as the potlatch, wherein commodities were either destroyed or redistributed to demonstrate social superiority and authority among the indigenous tribes of the Pacific Northwest coast. According to Bataille, the genuine manifestation of freedom occurs when people stop being prisoners to productivity and embrace expenditure without any observable return. He contends that life itself is inextricably linked to waste and that life is always, to some extent, a wasteful consumption. In Lab C, one of his well-known novels, he explores the relationship between the sacred and the profane, highlighting the contradictions inherent in human nature. His writing is often provocative, aiming to challenge moral and social conventions and encouraging the reader to confront their deepest fears and desires. The relevance of these reflections emerges in the way Bataille analyzed the society of his time, denouncing the obsession with work and productive efficiency as forms of alienation. He argued that man was not made to work but to celebrate and then burn. Spending is not only an accessory feature but a vital facet of the human experience, a bridge to transcendence and the transcending of the limitations imposed by economic logic, according to him. This thought encompasses his critique of modernity and the severe rationalization of living. Finally, although radical and provocative, Bataille's theories provide an intriguing perspective for comprehending the paradoxes of modern society and the fundamental human need to transcend the limits of productivity and reason. Bataille views waste as the opportunity to rediscover an authentic sense of being, freeing oneself from the constraints imposed by society and accessing a deeper and freer dimension of existence. His health, which was already impaired by a chronic lung condition, deteriorated in the last years of his life, and he passed away in Paris on July 8, 1962, at the age of 65. His thoughts left a lasting impression. Mark has an impact on many areas of modern knowledge, including philosophy, art, and even psychoanalysis. I appreciate you watching. Till the end, I'll see you shortly.